Watching these kids grow up, I would have to say.
Still watching them?
Yeah, I would still have to say the most exciting thing is watching them grow up. I'm actually a godfather to one of the kids here. Watching them grow up and actually just get out and be a very successful person or a successful businessman or in college, the way that they interact with people outside of school once they graduate, it's actually pretty phenomenal.
Today we're at Page High School, and I have the pleasure and the honor to talk with one of our SRO officers, or our school resource officers, Officer Griffiths. We are so excited to be here today so we can learn a little bit about exactly what an SRO is and what SROs do in the school system and in the community. So, welcome. How are you today?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a little rainy outside, but
Yeah.
we are here and we're at Page. I'm so excited. As a Smith High School graduate, I'm so excited to be here. So I'm sure you're going to make this fun for me. I know
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are.
I'll do my best.
So tell me a little bit about, is this your office here at Page?
Yeah, this is my assigned office here at
Okay.
Page that they give me. This is my 7th year here.
7 years. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what exactly do you do as an SRO officer? I know there may be some people in the audience that don't quite know what SRO is. I know I said it, but explain what it is and tell the audience what you do.
A school resource officer is basically a counselor, a police officer, somebody that listens to these kids. A lot of the time, students will come to us with problems that they don't come to the teacher or administrator or anybody at the school, because it's a police problem outside of school. They come to me about problems here at the school.
Okay.
A lot of the time we just sit and we'll talk and we'll find out what's going on.
Why do you think it is that the students come and trust you so much? I know, the police, I look at the police and I'm like, wow, my gracious, that's an officer. So do you think they look up to you? What is it about coming to you do you think makes them so comfortable?
I think it's a level of respect that I've been here for 7 years now, and that I have an open ear to them and listen to any problem without judging, and try to help them out the best I can.
Wow.
My number one job here is not to try to arrest somebody. My number one job is to try to help these kids out.
I'm sure there's some other students that may want to talk to you, get in touch with you. What other ways do you have to reach out to students who may not want to come to the door and actually come and see you? What types of things do you do?
I have social media accounts. I have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, and an Instagram account. I have a school email that I also use, and that's one of the biggest ways they actually speak to me is through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Wow. So all of that is an outreach, and the students actually subscribe and you talk to them on a regular basis. You have students and parents, I'm assuming, probably, that also link to that. That is amazing.
Yes.
So also with that, I know you're right here on the hallway. Is there any time that a student may not want to talk with you in the office? Do you always have conversations in the office, or do you?
We have
kind of
conversations
walk
in
and
the
talk?
hallway, and
Okay.
we
So
walk
it's
around the
open.
school. If they don't want to just come to my office, if I'm just walking up the hallway with them and talking, that's one way that we actually talk. A lot of the times they will just come to my office though and talk to me in here. I go to classes. I actually teach classes at the school.
You teach classes. What kind of classes do you teach?
Basically criminal justice classes, a lot of the Fourth Amendment search and seizure classes in the civics department of the school. They'll have me in as a guest speaker a lot.
That's pretty cool. Now, out of everything that you do, which would you say is the most rewarding for you in the role as SRO officer? What do you get the most out of?
Getting to see the kids graduate and actually having them come back to visit me. I've probably at least once or twice a week I'll have a kid come back to visit me.
Wow.
And it's a lot of fun to watch them grow up.
I bet.
I'm actually going to be in a kid's wedding coming up. They asked me to be in his wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, are you a groomsman? I was going to say a bridesmaid, but we don't want you to be a bridesmaid. Are you a groomsman?
Yeah, he asked me to be a groomsman in his wedding.
Interesting. So you have that much of an impact with these kids here in that short amount of time. Because if you think about it, I guess the same thing with people who work. You're with them a large amount of the day. So again, especially for those who may not have a father figure or someone, in the home to look up to, you are that
I am their
person.
father figure.
You are that father figure. Wow, that is just simply amazing. So why is the role of SRO or school resource officer so important in the schools, in your opinion?
We provide a lot more than just law enforcement. I've started several different things here at the school, like for instance, a lot of the kids that didn't have dental insurance, I actually teamed up with a local dentist, and she would see them for free.
Wow. So you create partnerships in the community that also feed into helping the students, helping the family, and showing that you're just not here to do the typical everyday I'm arresting or the bad things that we think about as far as a police officer would do. You were doing connecting in the community.
I very rarely arrest people. That's one of the least amount of things that I do at the school. Matter of fact, most of my time at the school is actually with counseling kids and talking to them and trying to keep them straight or out of trouble.
And going back to the dentist thing, so once they actually, was that one or two people? How many kids did you actually take?
I think there was about 13 or 14 that we ended up actually getting to go to the dentist. They were a lot of the kids that were new to the country from Vietnam and Africa and stuff like that, had never seen a dentist before. That's where we actually had a lot of, but we also had local kids also that grew up in Greensboro. For instance, we had one young man who was actually hurting, his mouth was hurting really bad, and we went and got it checked out, and his mom wanted to have the tooth pulled, but the dentist actually talked him into doing a root canal, and they didn't have the money for the root canal, so I paid for that out of my own pocket.
Wow. And he got it taken care of himself.
Yes, ma'am.
So, wow. That's not the one you're in the wedding for. I'm just kidding.
No. No, that was not getting married.
He's going to have pretty teeth. He's going to have pretty teeth. So.
Yes,
and now I'm here with Dr. Patrice Faison, who is the principal of Page High School. How are you doing today, Dr. Faison?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Good. I had a wonderful, wonderful time walking the halls of Page. I did have to tell Officer Griffith I'm a graduate of Smith, so this was very different for me to walk the halls of Page. But just wanted to know the importance of an SRO officer. We're just trying to inform our viewers in the Greensboro community what the importance of the school resource officers are. And I'd love to hear from your perspective as the principal what your thoughts are.
Well, I think that school resource officers are key, and especially in high school. And I think we need to look at not them from an area of enforcement, but an area of role models. We're fortunate that Officer Griffiths actually is a role model for our students and build relationships. So it allows the students to see our police in a different light.
Yes.
So not only does he walk around and help monitor the students, but he also goes in to do classrooms, and they build those relationships not only with students. I can't tell you how many parents actually call him for advice and just want to be able to talk with him. So it becomes a community. So it's very important here at Page.
Very important here at Page. Would you say that from what you've seen, because I know he said he's been here 7 years,
exactly,
that partnership has strengthened, and I know everybody was high-fiving him and bumping him in the hallway. So I know there are many kids who may not have a father figure. Do you see him also as kind of that male father figure for several of them as well, too?
It's good you bring that point up. I can actually remember when I don't know if it was last year. I mean, he does it all the time, but I remember the first year I found out that he was actually taking one kid and actually taking him to the soccer game with his son because he didn't have that opportunity. So that's definitely true. And I think really, I'm on a strong component that SROs need to be in one school constantly.
Yes.
Because
instead of rotating.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
It's just like the incident in South Carolina. People ask me, well, what would have happened if that was your school? It wouldn't have happened at my school,
right? Because
the relationship that Griff has with the kids, that never would have happened. So relationships are key. So we're fortunate. I can't say everybody's as fortunate as us. We have someone who takes their job seriously, and he doesn't see himself as an enforcement officer. He really sees himself, I think, as an educator, helping the kids to be better.
And as I joked with him, but it's of all seriousness, the resource in SRO is the key. He's a true resource for not only you, but also the community of students and surrounding area and parents as well.
Exactly, and that's a good point, because I call on him sometimes. You just have questions, and like I said, the students actually, he asked him different things. We were talking yesterday at lunch, and a student actually asked him a question related to law enforcement. So it happens all the time.
I heard one in the hallway today. I was like, wow, they just catch you like that. And he was
yeah.
like, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was so smooth with it.
Yeah.
I said, good job.
Yeah. And see, the good thing about being here and actually already having that relationship, when we get social media is a big thing now.
Yes.
So he's Facebook friends with them and they follow him or they'll tell him. They don't tell us.
Wow.
So that's a big plus for us.
And he said that outreach with, so I think he has Facebook and Instagram, so
Yeah.
you see that as a help
yeah.
to help the students
yeah.
and to communicate as well too. And the
yeah.
parents, I'm assuming? Wonderful.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
It really is a big, because as soon as something happens, they're on the phone, or sharing with him. So that's a big plus.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Faison. I know you didn't have to take the time out, but I'm glad we caught you in the halls and it's nice and quiet. I told him it's the quietest school right now. I came at a great time.
This is when they're supposed to be in class,
That's true.
When they change classes, you
That's
saw
true.
how loud it is.
They were loud.
Yes.
Yes.
But when it's time to do instruction, it's time to do instruction.
And that's a good thing. We love that. We love that. But thank you so much. And thank you for
guys.
allowing us to come to Page
Thank
today.
you. I think you made a great choice with selecting him.
Officer Griffith, thank you so much for just taking the time out today to walk me through the halls. It took me back, I'm not going to say how many years, but it took me back several years to my high school experience. And just knowing that we have a presence in the school like yourself, it just makes me feel better as a parent and as a citizen of Greensboro. So thank you so much. For any more information on SRO officers or anything you may have seen here today, please feel free to contact GSOPD.org. And remember, that's how Greensboro works.